Hello, my name is Craig Cook. I'm coming to you from the law offices of Craig L. Cook. I want to talk to you a bit this afternoon about what should you do before your first meeting with a lawyer concerning a nursing home negligence case in both Arkansas and Oklahoma. Number one, make sure to bring all photos. What I mean by that is if there is any type of bed sores, contractures, which means the muscles are contracting up, scratches, abrasions, other signs of injury to your loved one that's been in the nursing home, pictures are worth 1,000+ words. I always like to tell clients that you need to act like a trial is show and tell. Keep it simple. A lot of times lawyers get behind the 8 ball and start using legalese. No exception to that. I do it myself. But if you got a picture and just say, hey, here's what happened to us, or here's the injury, or yeah, we got this term contractures, but that's what it looks like. Or this is stage 4 bed sore, this is what it looks like. Jurors don't have to be told a whole lot more to know what you're referring to. So you need to have pictures of it all possible. Health insurance. If the loved one has private health insurance while in a nursing home, they may have what's called a subrogation interest in regards to any benefits or monies you may receive from the insurance carrier or the owners of the nursing home. So we've got to have that. We've got to know who's out there. We've got to know who's wanting what's called subrogation or some payback or some policy language in both Arkansas and Oklahoma that sometimes are able to get that. In Arkansas and in Oklahoma, we are successful at times either getting it reduced or making that amount we have to pay back to zero. That's a whole other topic about what you've got to do there, but sometimes we have to get out specialist that goes and does that after we get the case settled. Next, a Medicaid number if in Arkansas, Sooner Care number if in Oklahoma. These are kind of interchangeable. When I talk to people in Oklahoma, I will say Sooner Care. They come back and call it Medicaid. Sooner Care, Medicaid, and Oklahoma is interchangeable. In Arkansas, Medicaid is Medicaid. They don't call it anything else. If there's a child involved, even though it's still Medicaid, they call it another name for children, but it's still Medicaid. So make sure we have both of those numbers because we need to know if there's any subrogation there also. Document that sets out any supplemental insurance. What I'm talking about there is sometimes you will have not necessarily Medicaid, but you may have some health insurance and then have a supplemental insurance. Medicare is what people usually have as coverage when they're in a nursing home. And we need to know whatever number, identification number there is to get the what's called the Medicare subrogation amount. There is a way to be able to obtain that. Used to, well, up until the last 5 to 10 years, I guess, or maybe 10 years, you would have to send a letter off to the Medicare home office. They would have to be called a conditional payment letter. And you got the conditional payment letter, they'd send it back and they say, please don't settle it till you get a final letter. And then you have to send off another letter when you settle the case. And so much time would go by or how much they were behind in their work could take something after you got it settled. Let's say, for instance, July 1. You may not get this number back until November, December. Well, you let 6 or 7 months go by and you can't get it processed. And so now it's a streamline, it's a little bit better, but you've got to have what subrogation that Medicare pays out. 2 things to mention here in regards to Medicaid and Medicare. And I'm talking about what you got to bring in, which is important. But there's something called the Medicaid Recovery Act or a state recovery act. And in both Arkansas and Oklahoma, if your loved one while in a nursing home is getting Medicaid benefits, or Sooner Care in Oklahoma, or if they call it Medicaid when you're talking to them in Oklahoma, then there is a possibility that Medicaid will make a claim for all the monies they've expended the entire time they've been in a nursing home. So it's very, very important to get out ahead of that after you get the case settled to try to get that negotiated down, number 1, or 2, try to get them to waive it. Sometimes we can get that waived. It's very, very important to bring your Medicare, health insurance, Medicaid number, all that, because it just keeps everything nice and neat. Next, if the loved one is deceased, try to bring in the death certificate. We've got to have the death certificate. The reason that a death certificate is so important is sometimes there will be a cause of death put on the death certificate that's not really the cause of death. And the reason that happens is sometimes they just look at maybe what the last medical record said, because these are people sometimes are not physicians and sometimes nurses pronouncing the cause of death in a nursing home that never treated that particular resident. But it's very important that we get that. It's not necessarily damning to the case if the cause of death that's listed on the death certificate is contrary to what your theory of the case is, because a lot of times we can easily show that that's not what they died from. But it does help. If it does have what we believe they died from on the death certificate, it certainly helps, and it's harder for the defense to defend. Next, if complaints have been made to the Office of Long-Term Care, bring any documentation evidencing that complaint. What I mean by that is this: in both Arkansas and Oklahoma, you have an Office of Long-Term Care or adult care. Both places take complaints from people who complain about the particular nursing home or facilities. So you want to make sure that if there have been complaints made, tell your lawyer that you hire, or tell us when you come and hire us, so that we can obtain those complaints and find out if they have been in violation of any Code of Federal Regulations when what's called surveyors or inspectors goes into the nursing homes. They'll have those particular survey numbers and what they did wrong with each one of those surveys or inspections in the home. A lot of times when you have a complaint that brings about a survey, boom, that's some of your best evidence that you can have in a case. So it's very important. If you have a loved one that you believe has been mistreated in a nursing home, you don't have to wait till you go see a lawyer to do this. Go make a complaint to Office of Long-Term Care, or at least voice your opinion as to what you believe is wrong. They may or may not deem that to be a complaint or a credible complaint, but at least you've got in writing what you believe was done incorrectly. Next, nursing home cases are taken on a contingency fee basis, and therefore no money is required to be paid up front. I've talked about this in some of my other subject areas in regards to big truck and automobile accident cases. When you come in and you hire our firm to take care of your nursing home case, in both states, it's customary our practice to set up an estate, get the judge to approve the appointment of the personal representative, get the judge to approve either at the time on the front end or after you settle the case, the attorney's fees and costs to be distributed in the case. And once you have that estate set up, you can go forward. It's as if that person is still alive, only through the estate. The personal representative in the case can only do what the court allows them to do. So a lot of people believe that if you're a personal representative, you have complete power to do anything you want with that estate. That's not true. You still got to get a judge has to sign off on everything that you're doing. When you come in, person's passed away in a nursing home case, nursing home negligence case, we get an estate set up. After we get the estate set up, we obtain your medical records from both medical care providers, i.e. if the resident went to a hospital or another facility and they document what was wrong with the resident when they arrived, we get those records. And not only do you have nursing home cases that we can look at these type of cases, but we also have residential care facilities that we can look at those cases too and get those records after we get an estate set up. So if you have a nursing home case and you believe that a loved one has been done wrong in a nursing home, been mistreated, has caused through their lack of care the death of your loved one, give us a call to Law Offices of Craig L. Cook at 479-783-8000. Can work in both Arkansas and Oklahoma, or contact me, Craig, at lawofficesofcraiglcook.com. Or the best way is simply Google our name, go to our website, and it has several ways to contact our office and get an attorney to talk to you about your case. Thank you.